Support for the show comes from Amazon Prime. You might think of Prime as only a way to get fast, free delivery, or maybe as the place to stream movies, shows, and sports. But it's actually way more than that. Maybe you've got a passion or a hobby. Prime can help you get the most out of it. Whether you're streaming documentaries on marine animals, ordering action figure stands with free one-day delivery, or finding the perfect playlist to impress that special someone, Prime makes it easier and faster to do what you love. Whatever you're into, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into. Hey everyone, welcome to Quick Serve, brought to you by Amazon Prime. Mike, I had to fly to your former stomping ground and back in a day. Did a...
Pen a speech?
No, yeah, that's right. Did a quick event for HBO Max. They are the streaming partner for those that are not watching the coverage on TNT on cable. And listen, in a perfect world, did I watch the matches on HBO Max on the flight on the way here, land from the airport, and then come straight? Sure. Yeah, I did. Okay. I did, Mike. I did. But what a day. Can we talk Sabalenka and Iga? One, it's forever fun, especially in an individual sport. No other sport really has these like head-to-head matchups that span generations and the length of time. Even at the Olympics, we get it like once every 4 years. We're spoiled. Like, we just get these great rivalries, and Iga and Saba built a nice rivalry. It's really great. I'm just going to say something, and the comments are going to come in with the Sinner and Carlos of things. Sabalenka is like, there's an argument she's the best big match player in the world right now. 6-0 in the third against the person who's won 4 of the last 5 years at said event. It's weird to say it's her worst surface because she's so good on clay also, but it's probably her least favorite surface, or at minimum, the surface that she's had to work the hardest to become really good on. Nothing about her skill set instantly translates to clay and is like, oh, I just step on clay and it's better, right? It is that way on hardcourt, grass court. 6-0 in the third against a legend like Iga. Mike, this stat, do you know what I'm about to say? This stat?
No.
0 unforced errors against Iga Swiatek on clay in the semis of Roland Garros in the third set.
And bagels her.
How about them apples? That's 6-0 in the third, 0 unforced errors. Now, it's not as if she's playing a game where, you know, she's one of these people that just doesn't miss and doesn't take risks. 0 unforced errors while also hitting the biggest ball in the world. Unbelievable. I can't be told that she's not one of 2 or 3 people on earth, best big match players, as it currently stands. I was texting with JW and you just get the feeling like it's like Masters 1000 semi. I'm just going to go out there and do it. I'm going to hit my shot when I need to. She's unconscious about taking swings right now. It's playing these big matches is such a habit for her right now that you don't even worry about what she's going to do. And this coming from someone who, all of us dummies, we questioned, is she mentally tough enough? We're so stupid. Is she mentally tough enough? That was the narrative 4 or 5 years ago. Unbelievable performance. And props to Iga. There were a lot of doubters. No shame in the performance that she's had over the last 2 weeks. I actually think this is great, getting to the semis. Listen, she didn't win. First time she probably wasn't expected to, but I think this is a nice reset where it's like, I'm here. I'm in the conversation. I think we were trying to do the math. She's going to drop to 7 or 8 in the world, which is crazy to see next to her name. But I guess all that does is just tell you about the shadow she's created for herself by virtue of accomplishment. But Sabalenka, Iga, exactly one of us had that in the semis. Bueller, anyone? Sabalenka rolled. I don't know that she can be stopped. I think she's the favorite. I think she's, and I don't say this dismissively or disrespectfully to anyone else, and I've been saying it for a couple of months now. I think she's the favorite any tournament she's in right now. And she'll lose sometimes. but it's going to take a performance like a Maddie Keys in Australia, where she plays one of the best matches of her life and actually has weapons to hurt Sabalenka. This is just, she's so good, and she's finding new ways to win. She hits a little chip drop shot now. We don't give her enough credit. It's like we have one narrative about players, right? In commentators, like, she hits it so hard. She's learned how to take backhand both ways. She's learned how to hit chips. She knows how to hit drop shots now. She comes in a little bit more. She is so much better than she was when she was already really good 3 years ago. Testament to her work ethic. I don't know that it gets talked about enough because she's so unserious about herself when she answers questions. I don't think we give her credit for being a strategist and being a competitor. Like, if she doesn't take herself seriously, why should we? And I think that's wrong. I think once she gets between the lines, she has a nice offset, a very clear kind of separation of church and state when she plays and when she's off court. But don't get it twisted. She competes her ass off. She finds ways to win matches. And oh, by the way, she probably has the best base setting in the world right now. Before we get to those other things. So props to Iga, props to Sabalenka, living legends at this point in time. You know, we're just playing against shadows and each other. But I think this is a great tournament for Iga. I think it's even better tournament for Sabalenka. I think she wins the final. Coco ending, what was, in my opinion, the story of the tournament with Boisson. This was a big ask for Boisson just based on matchup. And before we get to how amazing of a story this was, and we'll give you some stats that you've probably heard ad nauseum, but credit to Coco going out and just taking care of business. This was a match last year that she wasn't putting people away 1 and 2, right? She was dragging into these 3 setters, which was kind of a coin flip. Even through Indian Wells, Miami this year, she's turned her season around during this clay court season, and we haven't fully given her flowers because she lost in the final and then lost in the final, and now she's in the final. But clay could be her best surface, maybe most consistent surface. Maybe it's her best surface, but then it comes down to matchups. I don't know, but she seems to find her consistency on clay a little bit more. But this matchup was always going to be tough. Boisson, from what I've seen, and we're all dealing off of like a 5-match sample size, and we weren't watching her first 2 matches. There was 77 matches going on a day. But obviously we start tuning in with Pegula. We start tuning in with Andreeva, and it becomes a real story. Her ability to create spin off of her forehand is her superpower, and her movement, right? She can move. She is athletic. She's dynamic. What works against Pegula, who is not 5'11" like Coco is, and I don't know if that's exact, but Coco, like, when we worked together for a couple of days, like, she walks in and she is athletic. She is tall. Like, she is, she presents.
She's listed at 5'9".
Yeah, it's every bit of it. I mean, she is literally like a prototype for an athlete. Like, she has a super presence physically. And so you can get it up out of the zone on Jess Pegula, right? And that spin profile is not, Jess Pegula does not want to be attacking you from above her ears, right? Coco, weirdly, that spin forehand to Coco's weakness, that forehand, Coco actually likes kind of fading away and creating her own spin mechanism. She would rather deal with that spin than be rushed to her forehand side, right? But then conversely, when Boisson gets it up on the backhand side, Coco is tall enough and physical enough to actually knock that backhand down, and she was just able to find the space to that backhand on Boisson over and over again. This was a tough matchup, X's and O's. You were hoping that if you were a fan of Boisson and you wanted the story to go on, that she could get it to 2-all, 3-all, 4-all, and then let the crowd do their thing, create a little bit of a stress mechanism. Credit to Coco. She just went out and took care of business. 1 and 2 in a Grand Slam final. Like, no struggle street, none of this stuff where she kind of had to work around anything. And the other thing about Coco that we take a lot of stuff for granted when people become really, really good. Coco is 21 right now. Sabalenka didn't win her first major until she was 24, almost 25 in Australia a couple of years ago. Like, she's figured it out earlier than a lot of people who have won a lot of majors. Of course, she's still building her game. Of course, there are imperfections, right? There's only a couple Rafas and Steffis, right? Like that have figured it out by 21, Serenas. If that's who we're comparing her to get to a place of disappointment, then shame on us. She's fantastic. And I love the way she competes. She's a model. She never says anything dumb. She never puts a foot wrong. She's 21. She's literally grown up in front of us, and she doesn't mess up. That's impossible. I would have, I didn't really mess up famously, but I also didn't have iPhones, because that would have gotten some shit. I'll tell you that right now. I wasn't a citizen like Coco. I was number one in the world at 21, and I'm thankful that I didn't live in Coco's era generation. Promise you. But
your kids are too.
Yeah, I think you're right. But imagine going into a tournament ranked 360 something and leaving at 60 something. And to walk through what that means you're playing futures and the lowest level of pro. You're not getting into the qualies of a challenger most weeks at 360. You're playing qualies to go in Macedonia.
Yeah. And she tore her ACL a week before the French Open last year. So think about that. Half the year up until this point was probably rehab.
Well, okay. So imagine this. Imagine being like, so you're kind of the CEO of a small business. I love the way Danimal kind of put it in these terms when she was on our show last year. You're kind of the CEO of a small business. I guarantee you tomorrow they're getting around a table and going, okay, so what now? And the way it works is there's a 6-week entry system. So she's still going to, unless she gets a wild card, she's still going to have to play qualies at Wimbledon. But 6 weeks passes, she's getting automatic entry off of that ranking that's 60 something. So now she's playing qualies in the Masters 1000s. She doesn't have a point to defend basically for a year. Like, it's a free roll. Life changing. She went into this tournament as the 24th highest ranked French woman. 12 days later, number 1 ranked French woman in a very tennis thirsty market. Life changing. And it's not as if it was, she beat fucking Pegula and Andreeva back-to-back center court, chips down. Bravo. Just a great performance. And I hope she builds on it. Now, we don't know if she can play on fast surfaces. We don't know if that movement translates. There's so much we don't know about how she can play and how she can deal. And right now, I hope she understands that doesn't matter for at least a week, 2 weeks. Please let this sink in. Please give yourself a round of applause. Well-deserved. But this is it's the beauty of sports. There's no script. Anything can happen. Your life can be completely changed in 12 days. Completely changed for the rest of your life. Her game is good. She's going to stay on tour. She's going to make a living in the top 100. She is going to get into every Grand Slam. Sean, she couldn't get into qualies of a Grand Slam however long ago, and now she's going to be in them forever.
And when Sean and I were watching her play Pegula, when we were down getting ready for Andre's interview, she was rocketing these 90-mile-an-hour forehands. I was like, who is this person? Rockets. Well, the athleticism is easy to see, right? Now, the question is, can she couple it then with experience?
Yeah, she's a tough competitor. She's winning these matches, and she got to the finish line. And it's obviously different. I always say expectation is the hardest thing in sports. The type of pressure and the way the pressure feels is going to be different. The ascendancy is a lot easier than someone being disappointed that you didn't make the semis. That's a very different set of mental hurdles that you have to go through. But that's a problem you want. That's absolutely a problem you want. It was a blast. This is why tennis is unbelievable theater. But also, think about this, and obviously it's an exception because it's not as if she's been playing for 52 weeks and is ranked 360 in the world, right? She's been out and is ranked 360 in the world. So, the eye test is it's a joke. She's not 360, but also the depth in tennis, someone 360 on earth can go do that. How many great players are there that we don't know about? It's so great. I think it's so cool. Go ahead.
She doesn't even have a picture on her profile of the WTA Tour website. It's just like one of those gray cutouts.
You know what I can't. You know what I can't wait for.
Yeah,
is the pronunciation special. That's when you've made it. Remember
that's when they actually give you the button.
It was like yalla. I think we did a whole episode on that. Boisson. It's coming. But anyways, that was cool. So much fun to watch, and also equally impressed with Coco. We do need to keep her career, and like every conversation almost starts from a place of negativity about what she doesn't do perfectly. That's out there. I like Sabalenka in the final. I think this matchup is really tough because I think Sabalenka can go through a forehand side. They're 5-5, folks, in head-to-head, 1-1 in Grand Slams. You know, Coco can turn any match into a fight. She's so good at that. She's so good at kind of leveling up, leveling down. She's the best bad form player in the world. And I mean that with like the utmost amount of respect, because that's what I prided myself on. I was like the best of the bad players. Like my off day was effective. Her off day is so good. And it's not going to work if she doesn't play great against Sabalenka in 2 days. I like Sabalenka. I had Saba and Coco in the final. Everyone's like, why are you just going with the seeds? I'm like, just because they're better, you know?
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
If the roof is closed versus open, does it favor one of them more than the other?
If I'm Coco, I want it to be weird. I want it to be cold or hot, or I want the wind to be blowing at 20. You know, if Saba's getting a consistent strike on the ball, I got to think that favors her. But then again, it's a different tournament. Coco won indoors at World Tour Finals. I think Sabalenka is favored with that, but I also think we probably overvalue that. You know, Coco, if it's warm, her ball jumps a little bit more, but then Saba's gets through the court a little bit more. I think if you're Coco, you want to make the match into a little bit of a gutter brawl, right? If you're just going toe-to-toe and it becomes like an exhibition of ball striking, that favors Sabalenka. And indoors, everything's loud. It's feel good. Like it pops. That affects the strike. There's like that sensory feedback of sound that probably makes, gives Sabalenka the feel goods, right? So I think Sabalenka wins this tournament. I don't know that I bet against her in any individual matchup on any given day right now. And until further notice, that doesn't mean she won't lose. If she had to play, and Maddie would probably say the same thing. If she had to play Maddie again in those exact same circumstances, I would still take Saba, in Australian Open. But you don't have to be better than her 52 weeks a year. Coco has to be better than her for 2 hours. And she's done it before. She beat her in the finals of the US Open, if you hadn't heard. But listen, this is a dream for the women's tour. The way this shook out with Boisson's story and Coco, being probably the most marketable player in the game. And then you have the legends with Sabalenka and Iga squaring up on Iga's turf and Sabalenka taking it. And this has been an absolute dream for the women's tour and for those players. And they've delivered. It's been great to watch. And by the way, some people involved in the men's semifinal weekend, maybe like Novak or Sinner or Carlos, the Italian brigade, including Musetti. Why do you take the favorites? Well, they're better. They're better.
Yeah, it's not like they didn't earn those rankings or anything. It's not like it's a preseason NCAA poll where they're just picking names.
Yeah,
like they've earned their seeds.
And I'm so mad that I didn't go more chalk with Novak. That's my only regret, is not going enough chalk on the seeds. Novak and Sinner. Listen, let's talk quickly about the genius of Novak in this Zverev matchup. For the first hour of that match, hour and 20, they're neutral rallies where they're striking the ball, getting their pacing before Novak makes adjustments and Zverev doesn't make adjustments. Zverev was getting the better of those rallies. Like he was when it was just stock before Novak starts going with that backhand line dropper is so good. And he takes that backhand back and you're not going forward because he's the most capable of creating depth off of every ball that anyone we've ever seen. And then all of a sudden you have to account for one that he drops a foot over the net. And it looks the same on the take back. Like he takes it back like this and then just drops a hand off of it. I remember back in the day when people used to telegraph their drop shots, right? It looked different on the take back. Now Carlos, the forehand looks the same, and then at the last minute he cuts under it. Novak's backhand looks the same. He always drops at line, and it doesn't matter because you simultaneously have to respect that backhand that goes cross court into your corner. You can't try to anticipate a drop shot. It's always going to be there for him. And he tennis IQ'd his way out of that match to the point where he shifted it. And we've seen him do it so many times. The chip down where he would bring Zverev in. And it's not just a chip. It's not just to mix it up. It's also to vary where Zverev can stand. He likes being 5 or 6 feet behind the baseline. That's his comfort zone, and he's very good at it. So all you jackholes going, step, he's world class at what he does. I don't think variety for him is a choice at this point. He's not native to he can hit a chip. Everyone can do these things. It's not native for him. His swing is so big on the forehand side. I think it's borderline idiotic to just say, go 2 feet inside the court. No, because then Novak's going to create speed and then he's leaning back and hitting it. And it's the same result. It's going to be like this little fluttery thing. But then all of a sudden he can't dig in on defense. It's the technique of his forehand, not the intent, that creates this problem for Zverev, in my opinion. And it's just the same, now we've talked about it before. What would I like to see Zverev do? Serve and volley a little bit. Come in off of second serves. His backhand is world class. Like short list, top 15, 20 all-time backhands. Take that and come in. You're 6'6", 6'7", right? Now forehand, maybe get more height and then take the next one, a 2-shot combo where it's like you play it even higher, deeper line, and then step in on the next one and create that space and take your shot. But I don't know that he can just decide on one ball he's going to step in and move. I don't know that that's an option, and everyone keeps saying it, and I get frustrated because I don't know that it's that easy. It's like telling someone to be faster. I don't know. Well, you got to play more. No, that's not. Your body's built a certain way. Your technique is a certain way. I don't know. At a certain point, you kind of have to dance with who you brought. So it's just. I think it's lazy analysis to just say he needs to step in a foot and just fire. I don't know that he has the technique to do that. It's like saying everyone should just dance and get forehands and be playing inside out and all, with like Roger. Well, we all don't have perfect footwork, perfect technique, the ability to maneuver our wrist and racket, control of the racket face to the last second. There's a lot of things that go into that. It's not a choice. If it was a choice, everyone would do it. But Novak's a genius. So I got a little sidetracked there with my anger. But Novak hitting that chip line does two things. One, it mixes it up. It drives the traffic, but it brings Zverev in, right? And shouldn't that be the goal, right? Doesn't everyone want Zverev inside? No. It brings him in, and then he pounds him back, and then all of a sudden Zverev's on the baseline or a foot behind it as opposed to 6 feet behind it playing defense, and then Novak can get aggressive, right? Because he's playing defense going backwards, not in a set position like a game of Pong, receiving it. And that's just the genius, man. When you've won 24 times in slams, that first set was a stress test. And he's like, okay, I'm stressed by this. I'm going to mix it up. So clear, so genius. It's just so much fun to watch, frankly. The chess match, I want them to explain it, that what that chip does, what that drop shot does, how it affects positioning. Whereas Zverev's all of a sudden thinking about that. Now he has to, creep in a foot or two. All right, that's not his comfort zone. Now he's out of his comfort zone trying to beat someone who's the best of all time. Problem. But also we need, Zverev has a resume better, and his resume is probably better than mine, except I won one, but the guy's a really, really, really good player. He's such a good player, and he's at the place now where it's he's only judged based on if he wins a Grand Slam or not. It's a shitty place to be. But it's fair. It's he hasn't won it and he got sued. The team Zverev was the worst final I've ever seen, ever. And I think people have that imprinted in their minds, and rightfully so. But the guy hasn't won a match forever, and then all of a sudden he makes the semis of a Grand Slam. He's really good in that format. And I know it's counterintuitive. I know you're supposed to say if he doesn't win it, then he sucks in best of 5. I think he's better in best of 5. I just think there are certain pressure mechanisms with what you don't have. But I don't know that it's as easy as just say, step in and hit a forehand hard. Okay, great. Thank you, Dan, the accountant.
Thanks for listening, Dan.
Thanks for listening, Dan. Sinner's an animal. He's going to get on the front foot. Novak's not going to have the time to play those chips and mix it up slowly. Novak's going to have to try to bleed him lines early. Like, you can't beat Sinner cross court, right? He's,
Explain more what you mean by that. Bleeding lines versus beating.
Yeah, he's got to take risk. Once Sinner gets set up and on the front foot, it's tough to get out of it. He like, even Novak, when he hits it hard, Sinner can create speed so quickly. Like, he doesn't need time to create speed. He can just rip. He's going to be on the front foot. Novak will not have the time to hit the little chips, to hit the drop shot. Like, hitting a drop shot off of Sinner's ball when he's on the baseline or a foot behind it, taking cuts, is way more difficult than when someone's lagging back 5 or 6 feet and you have that extra moment to kind of survey everything that's going on. I've already, tried to make my peace with not choosing Novak before Geneva, the whole thing. I think Sinner gets through this one. I think he's just such a force offensively, and also nothing would surprise me. Novak's, and he's attempting to enter Superman mode again. So the balls and strikes of the matchup at this point in their careers, I says it's Sinner, but I think there's exactly 2 people on earth that stress Sinner out mentally. And I think that's Novak and Alcaraz, and that's who he has to go through to win this tournament. And rightfully so. I mean, shit, I would have loved it if it was only 2. Most of us, all right, that was a little too hearty of a laugh, maybe. But yeah, I like Sinner going through. Carlos Musetti, and also props to Musetti. The guy's made the semis of every event. Like, this is a guy who broke out and made the finals of Queens and semis at Wimbledon, and it was like, oh, okay, you were a prospect and you kind of were stuck, in this range for 2-3 years. Now it means legit. He's going to be a top 5 player by the end of the year, probably. Like, he's playing great. And also Alcaraz can just do everything that he does just a little bit better and a little bit more dynamic and with a little bit more variance and with some more options. And, he doesn't mind that deep, heavy ball like Musetti, similar to what we were talking about with Coco. He's happy to take a step back and just rip it back. It's like when I draw like my chip was really good. We talked about this a little bit in the Andre episode. My chip was really good until it was going to Murray, whose chip was better. Like, then it became average. Musetti's ball flight and him getting it up above the shoulders is good against most. Carlos can take that early. He likes taking it early, or he can step back and do the same thing. I like Carlos in this match. I think people are going to be dismissive of Musetti. And I've already seen it, like, oh, Carlos in straights, he rolled. Like, they're already talking about Carlos versus whoever wins between Novak and Sinner, and I don't like that at all. I don't think that gives the respect. I think Musetti will make this a match. But, I think I will have gone chalk. And I think that I will have gotten all 4 finalists as well when this is all said and done. But, this has just been a dream to watch. It's been so much fun. TNT hit the jackpot with these matchups, right? They're going, oh yeah. This was a good investment. I don't know why I just made him Canadian, but oh yeah, or Minnesota. Mike, anything else? Or are we just quick serving our asses off this weekend?
We're just quick serving like crazy. We'll hit you with all the good stuff, and then I'll have our recap on Tuesday. So
awesome.
Mark your calendars.
Love All out. I saw. I haven't listened yet because I was on a flight and watching tennis, but Kim did like a French Open Q&A situation with Sophie.
Yeah, it was cool. They did it's out now. Go check it out. It's cool. It was a mixture of like Sophie's naturally like inquisitive, wanting to learn more about tennis, along with some of our fans, and it was really through the lens of what a French Open experience is like, especially with Kim, who did it first at like 15 and then went on and played it, and then the last French Open she played, she was like sharing a hotel room with a kid. So it's just like a crazy. She talked about her favorite restaurants, hotels she liked to stay at, what it was like traveling with her parents when they were parents and then grandparents. It was just,
there's been
cool story time with Kim.
Yeah, I think I I'm saying I underestimated. It probably makes it seem like I was giving it a lot of thought, but I think I've underestimated like you all being tennis fans, but not like psychopaths before this show. And then, but like Sophie being able to ask questions from a place of like wanting to know, learning, that's where most fans are. And so to have access to someone like Kim Clijsters with those questions, I think is like endlessly entertaining. So love all. You can find it on our YouTube channel. So if you guys are hearing this and you don't know where to find it, it's on our channel. So if you go to like, you see the Andre thing or you see the next quick served or wherever, just scroll down a little bit right there. But I think that dynamic is really cool. I look forward to listening to that after my kids go to sleep. Just going to crack open a nice bottle of one.
Are you going to do like a Bordeaux maybe? Just in honor of...
I do like a Bordeaux. It just real on girls. I was going to do Burgundy for Boisson, but she's gone. So maybe I'll flip it. Maybe I'll flip it.
Do like a big American red maybe?
Yeah, this is great. I can't believe we went full White Lotus at the end of this episode. That's great.
Piper, no.
How Piper, no. Can you bring me my lorazepam? Anyways,
oh man, we are in North Carolina.
Yeah. Click subscribe. We thank you. You've been subscribing. We appreciate you. We will be back tomorrow on Quick Serve presented by Amazon Prime. Shit's getting real good, Mike. I can't wait. Support for the show comes from Amazon Prime. Prime is more than just fast, free delivery. It's your go-to for streaming music, movies, and sports. Plus, it's also a great way to connect with the things you love. Into skiing? Stream ski films on Prime Video even when the slopes are bare. Love fishing? You can get new gear delivered fast and be back by the water in no time. Planning your next big trip? Prime helps you get everything you need faster than you can write your out-of-office email. Whatever you're into, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.